Welcome back to the Humble Market Timer YouTube channel. Once again, if you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today's video, I wanted to focus on the company SERVE Robotics. I think it has a pretty interesting technical setup, one that I think you need to keep an eye on that could potentially lead to some substantial gains. Before I go any further, here's my disclaimer. Again, these are just my sole ideas, not investment advice. Now, SERVE Robotics is an autonomous robotics company. They create these autonomous robots to deliver food. It's a pretty unique idea they have. They have partnerships with Uber Eats, Shake Shack, and they also have a strategic investment from NVIDIA. So they have some pretty powerful partners and some pretty substantial backing from a major player in NVIDIA. So even though this company isn't that far gone as far as it's generating a lot of money right now, they, again, have some pretty good prospects in the future. Now, even though the company is a fairly new company, they have not gotten to a point where they are generating significant resources from revenue, but they are ramping up based on some of these partnerships, and they are hopeful that they can parlay some of these partnerships into more significant business down the line. Now, just looking at the chart of SERVE Robotics, the ticker symbol is SERV. The setup in this particular company, in this particular chart, has very bullish setups on multiple fronts, and I want to point them out to you. The first thing I want you to notice is we have a very strong cup and handle setup right here. Very obvious cup with a handle, very textbook. This is a very bullish setup, and oftentimes you trend in this handle and then eventually you break out of the handle up quite a bit. So that's one very bullish setup that I've noticed in this chart. Also, just looking at the far end of the cup and handle, you have what I call the flagpole, and then you have the flag action. This is considered bullish flagging. Again, you have the pole, and then you have your flag action. Typically, you have action that trends inside of the parallel or the flag, and again, after a while, it breaks out of the parallel up higher. The last thing that I noticed, again, very bullish setup, is you also have, within the flag, you have shoulder, head, and then another shoulder. Again, I talked about this particular pattern, bullish pattern, in other videos. It's considered to be an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Also considered to be a very bullish pattern. Oftentimes, once you break the neckline, you get a very bullish move and substantial move higher. So just within this chart, I have pointed out three very bullish setups all in this particular chart. All have very high probabilities of breaking higher. Now, when you have these bullish setups, of course, there's no guarantee that the stock will move higher. It just increases the probability that you will get a move higher. Now, there isn't really an exact trigger, in my opinion, to have SERVE Robotics move higher. However, typically, when you have companies such as SERVE, which is in a very hot sector such as robotics, typically there are times in the course of a year where certain sectors will run together. And I believe there will be a time in the very near future where the robotics section will have a run. There's been a run in the past of quantum stocks. There's been a run of those stocks, those crypto treasury stocks. So there's always a sector that pops up that investment dollars flow to during a certain times of year. And the trigger in my belief of what could possibly trigger SERVE is that we have Tesla, which is really pushing their robotics, their autonomous driving, which deals in that robotics sector. So if Tesla gets a bit of a push in that robotics and that autonomous driving portion, then that means there will likely be money flow to other robotics companies, and that's where you will have possibly an infusion of cash pushing into SERVE. And then once you have the triggering aspect of these bullish patterns, then you will see significant movements up. So I want you to keep an eye on SERVE. I wouldn't necessarily invest in the company now. You need to wait until you have a trigger of these bullish patterns, and the trigger would be the break higher and confirmation of a move outside of this flagging action or the handle action in this cup handle formation that we saw, or a break of the inverse head and shoulders. Once you receive that confirmation, then you want to see if we have some confluence with there being movement in other robotics companies and other robotic themes, such as the autonomous driving in Tesla. Keep an eye on SERVE. Keep an eye on this chart. Once again, if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.